album is that it was the first album that we ever made off the road. By '66, we finished Between the Buttons, Let's Spend the Night Together, and we stopped working for like a year and a half. And in that year and a half, we had to make another album, and that was the same Acid, Busted, so it was like such a fractured business instead of like the way we were used to working. It was a total alien way of working to us at the time, so and it kind of reflects this fractured album.
People are saying that Keith Richards' new solo album, Talk Is Cheap, sounds like a Stones album without Mick Jagger.
I view it as inevitable, really. I know what I put into the Stones, and I can only play that way. To try and avoid sounding like that would be just as phony as trying to overemphasize the Stones aspect of what I do. I wanted to try and at least give a glimpse of like other aspects of myself. To me, this is like a first tryout, and I'm very happy with the way it came out. And I think it's, it tells its own story, which is why I call it Talk Is Cheap, because really you just got to listen to the music, and it kind of eventually will explain itself.
Here's How I Wish. Outdoor rock shows can bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars. Unfortunately, they also bring a few problems.
You never know what's going to happen. You're at the mercy of the elements every day you do a gig. If there's a crosswind, somebody down in the projects or in some suburb 2 miles down the road gets perfect sound. Nobody in the stadium gets, or it's raining, and you stand the chance of being electrocuted.
Something that has happened to Keith.
All I remember is this, I suddenly felt like a dragon. This sort of sparks and smoke came flying out of my guitar, touched the mic stand, and it was grounded wrong.
Hard-rocking street-fighting man. Notice anything unusual?
There's no electric instruments on Street Fighting Man except the bass. It's all acoustic guitars. You put an acoustic guitar on a track, and suddenly, from becoming like an inch wide, it's 3 feet wide. It just starts to breathe. Any guitar player worth his salt has got to keep up on the acoustic guitar, because the acoustic guitar will teach you things about the electric guitar, and the electric guitar never teach you anything about the acoustic guitar.
Up Close returns with Keith Richards.
To me, rock and roll, well, there's planes that take off and there's planes that don't, the idea of heavy, to me, tumbling down a runway. It's like the Grey Goose. In England, we had one called the Brabazon, had like 1 million engines on it, but just could never get off the ground. To me, I like alloy. I like something that's lighter than air. I like something that takes off and bounces around and can maneuver. I like some dynamics and the idea of it just thundering away. That's rock. That ain't rock and roll. I'm more interested in the roll than I am in the rock.
Brian Jones' last recorded work appears on Let It Bleed. On July 3rd, 1969, Brian's death by misadventure ended an era, but he's not forgotten.
Hey, he's remembered every time we play, as far as we're concerned. The Stones sound, even today, still carries Brian's legacy. That's why we're still talking about it. Dead but not forgotten. All you can do is pass it on, hand it on, in the long run. Doesn't matter how many you sold it is or how many people came to see you here. All the musician does in the long run is, if it's any good, that you passed on a little bit and somebody else picks it up.
'98.
2 days after Brian's death, the Rolling Stones played a free concert in London's Hyde Park. Nick Taylor played with the band that day and stayed on for 5 years. Here's Keith Richards.
Very different to playing with Brian Jones, but, I mean, the guy's such a good player. He lacks one of those ingredients that are necessary to, like, be a solo or to work out on your own, you know, which is, like, the need to show off and the capacity to deal with the behind-the-scenes stuff. But as a player, I mean, he's got to be one of the best of all time. So consistent and so...
Keith Richards.
I like to think I'm pretty good at what I do. But whether it's art or not, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who decides what's considered art. Music's been around for thousands of years, since guys used to knock bones against rock, and just to give each other messages, you know, and it's gone into a whole new thing in the last 100 years. Imagine if Beethoven or Mozart could have instant playback, instead of, if they were lucky, listen to it 2 or 3 times played by an orchestra to actually hear what it actually sounded like. I mean, that was their only chance of playback, was they wanted a few performances, if they were lucky. Music has gone into a whole new thing with this, with being able to hold it, recapture it, play it back. I mean, 100 years might sound a long time if you're 15 or 16 years old, but it ain't that long when you consider the length of time that music's been around. It's a mere, it's a gnat's piss.
And this